Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. To people who are going to celebrate Halloween, if they've not already, over the weekend, happy Halloween. I look at it as a very, a very special occasion in memory of the dead. So I don't really kind of do Halloween in that sense. But I pray for all of my, ancestors and everyone who has passed on to another different realm, of the world, or of the universe, as we call it. And I pray for peace, for love, for good karma, and a good life to wherever that people who I know, whether it's family, whether it's friends who have passed on, for them to have a good life, a great life, and come back. If it is the right movement and occasion for them to experience this beautiful planet again. So happy Halloween to everyone, and welcome to everyone and all my friends from different parts of the world who will log in today for this edition of Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa, which I host every Sundays at 7:30 Malaysia time and 5 o'clock India time. Today is really, really special because, as my introduction already kind of said, which is shared on Facebook, I have somebody very special all the way from Bhutan live, and I cannot wait to talk to this gentleman and find out everything that is beautiful Bhutan. So in the meantime, what I did was I did a little bit of research myself. I watched a few videos and little kind of clips that I could get. Of course, I also watched Chef Anthony Bourdain's uh, episode on Bhutan to understand what it's all about, what is the spirit of the country, and how does it resonate? What is the emotion and the feel of the people comes beautifully across when you watch all the landscapes and the textiles and a way of living of the people. So I will know more of that, uh, you know, from directly from my guest who joins in very quickly, very soon because he's just backstage with me. In the meantime, log in wherever that you are with your cup of tea or a glass of wine, whatever that makes you feel comfortable on a Sunday evening, to sit down there and be part of my heart to heart. As you know, Heart to Heart as a platform is very special to me because when I launched it last year in 2021, I launched it as with a particular kind of vision as a journalist to meet very influential leaders, irrespective of where they come from, and to understand how change begins, uh, which we know begins from self, from us. What are their leadership values? How do they take it right from their personal life into their professional lives? And we met some fabulous personalities, from India, from Bombay, from Mumbai, from Malaysia, from Dubai, and each guest who has sat on my heart seat has enriched my life too. So I hope to take heart to heart out there and put it out there to the world so that it inspires anyone. If it can make a difference in anyone's life, it would be mission accomplished for me. So thank you for the faith that you, my audience, put into me every Sundays and in everything that I do as a media person, as a media personality. To all my well wishers and co partners who collaborate with me, especially a big thank you to the Mac Clinic, Malaysia's pioneering aesthetic institution that has, together we create such wonderful stories of change and impact and making a difference in lives. So welcome to this edition of Heart to Heart with me, Ethel Da Costa. And let me introduce my guest so that we can kind of just get on with the show. So if you have been traveling or you have done some reading on Bhutan, we know that the as I said, the how aspirational the country is, and how I think ahead of its time they are also. So the tourism policy of high value, low volume, which is so unique, I think it's very unique and very special, has guided Bhutan's approach to tourism, much more, making it much more, how do you call it? Uh, the concept of sustainable tourism and responsible tourism as concepts, which we, kind of are so used to now in the modern world, in this particular timeline, was introduced in Bhutan much ahead of its time, uh, into the, how do I say it, into making sure that every traveler who travels to Bhutan understands it. So, so when a traveler goes to Bhutan, he or she already knows, what is the country's expectations from you as a traveler or as a tourist. And my guest today, Bhutan's very dynamic Dasho Dorji Dhardul, I hope I pronounced it correctly. He is the Director General of the Tourism Council of Bhutan, who will today come live with me from Bhutan to explain and kind of give us like a sneak peek of Bhutan's tourism mission and vision 2023. They have just closed down a fabulous and very pioneering concept, I thought, very a first of its kind, an ultimate race to climate change, called the Snowman race, which was held across 203 kilometers, that is roughly 126 miles, through wild, challenging terrain and mountain passes as high as I think 5,470 meters, that is 17,946 feet, that high, which means I think I'm sure even the oxygen thins out at that particular height. The Snowman race was or attracted the world's fittest and most elite runners who participated in this event to raise awareness of the impacts of climate change on nature. And to share more on that, let me just bring my guest today, Dasho DORJI DHRADHUL, to tell us everything about Bhutan and the Snowman race, and give us a glimpse into what his fabulous country is all about. So hang on there with me. Let me patch in live. Good evening, sir, and welcome to this edition of Heart to Heart.
Good evening, Ethel. Thank you very much. I have just listened to your introduction and such a wonderful introduction that you've done. And also, I'd like to start by congratulating you and paying my highest respect to you for starting this program, Heart to Heart. I think it's such an awesome program, and also with such a novel objectives that you have just highlighted. So congratulations for that, and really appreciate. And also like to take opportunity in wishing everyone here online a very happy Halloween from 2020.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for making the time, because I know you're a absolutely, a busy gentleman with so many things to do. And I just reached out to you, and you immediately said yes. So I'm really grateful for you for being part of today's Heart to Heart. If you can hear me well, I hope our internet is fine. Yes.
Yes, yes,
I know that I've done an introduction to you, but we would love to hear a little bit about yourself. Though I know that you're very kind of shy about it, but as a journalist, I still have to do it. Can you give us a very short snapshot of your awesome, career as a tourism
yes.
director?
Thank you very much, Ethel. I actually started as an agriculturist. I'm by training, by profession, I'm an agriculturist. I studied a bachelor's degree from Sri Lanka. Actually, I passed out from Sri Lanka, University of
Okay.
Peradeniya. But then I worked in agriculture for almost 15 plus years, and then from there I moved on. I went into governance. I became a governor of one of our districts in our country, and then today, as of today, I am the heading the tourism council of Bhutan. Certificate here.
And from whatever reading that I was doing, sir, I know that you completely enjoyed this particular role because you have been, I think, pouring so much of your, besides your time, even your passion into the role that you currently hold. I love the vibe that I kind of, felt um, when I was doing all the kind of, reading that was available online of the way Bhutan has structured, its window to the world, but looking not just from the outside, but I think more from within out, and I think that is really fabulous because it makes the people inclusive, of the country's vision and mission as well to support it. What is, I would like to know this from you, what is Bhutan's true soul, and how do you aim to make the rest of the world see it and feel it?
Mhm. No, that's really a big question, but I'll definitely make an attempt. And as the program name goes, from heart to heart, so whatever
Yes,
comes, I mean, it comes from. I hope it definitely comes from my heart. Now,
beautiful.
what is the true soul of Bhutan? Now, coincidentally, it's just about more than a month ago, actually, to be very precise, on 22nd September, last 22nd September, Bhutan launched a new brand for ourselves,
Okay.
for the nation. And that brand is what we call as the logo is Bhutan, the name of our country, Bhutan, and the tagline is believe,
Believe.
believe. So that is our tagline. Now,
Okay.
in a way, you can say that is the soul of our nation as of today. Of course, as I said, it is a big question, but now from my perspective, now since this is the most recent thing, believe is a tagline. So we want to now be guided by this tagline, believe. And basically, if I elaborate a little bit on this, basically, even you have also said, it's not just about the outside, it's not just about inside, it's about
Right.
togetherness. So the belief actually is relevant not only for the outsiders or all the visitors, but it is also even more relevant for a Bhutanese citizen. So specifically, we have five areas, five parameters for this belief. We are talking about believe in future, one.
Hmm.
Second is believe in ourselves, ourselves as a Bhutanese citizen, but also as ourselves as a tourist or a visitors themselves. Third
Okay.
is believe in our vote. We as a country, uh,
Hmm.
I mean, we have to believe in our vote. Then fourth is believe in our values, elevated values. I mean, every nation, every community, every citizen will have a values, but Bhutanese, we also consider we have a very unique, very age-old values which we have to believe and we have to take it forward. And then
Yes.
fifth is believe in nature. Again, Bhutan has been always a part and parcel of the nature, and as we have already highlighted, later on maybe we'll touch on this, the Snowman race, basically, again, an ultimate race towards the climate change, which basically boils down to nature. So, if I elaborate again a little bit on this, the soul of Bhutan, what you can see is also, while we are a very small kingdom, we're a very small nation, just about 700,000 people, very small country, still a
Yes.
developing country. But at the same time, we have been also trying to do our best for the whole humanity, for the whole earth, for the whole world. So in a way, we can say Bhutan, we think globally and act locally. And that can be also our tagline. I
Correct.
mean, personally, I would say. Now, what
Yes.
I mean by this is, for instance, Bhutan being a small country, even though we are a small country, we have been in a way by environmental champion. Like for
Hmm.
instance, even in our constitution mandates that at all times to come, a minimum of 60% of our country has to be covered with the forest. That's a constitutional mandate. But as of
Yes.
today, we have 72%. We have 72% of the country under forest coverage. Now, another example, another statistic is we are the first carbon negative country in the world. Of course,
Hmm.
very lately, we have two or three more countries that joining this club of being a carbon negative economy. Then the third, which is directly relevant to me, is our tourism policy itself, high value, low volume, which is
Hmm.
very much in nature. And also,
Yes.
so yeah, basically we have been trying to do in our own small way, but thinking for the whole world. Actually, think globally, act locally.
Yes. Yes, I love that. And I think that is what I found so interesting when I was doing my little research over the weekend. I love the fact that the high value, low volume is absolutely I think ties in with your how do you call it, keeping the environment as the focal point, right? Because like you
Yes,
mentioned, nature and the focus of nature is almost you said almost 60% or 70%.
yeah,
That you,
minimum of 60%,
yes,
minimum
and,
sixty
and
percent.
and you have exceeded. Bhutan has exceeded that, I'm told.
We have 72%.
Yes, which is awesome because rest of the world we see that much to being like how do you call it. I personally feel very upset about it when nature is sacrificed for civilization. You know what I'm saying, right? So you
Yeah,
cut
yes,
down mountains and trees to make space for more humans, and at the
yes,
and then end up creating this imbalance between nature and humanity, which then leads to
yes,
so many other natural disasters like flash floods and landslides and all that kind of thing. So Bhutan becomes such a perfect example of uh, I think a very successful model if countries are brave enough to adopt it.
yes.
Correct, yeah.
True.
Which also, yes, which also brings me to this other philosophy which I found so intriguing, to kind of understand it. This philosophy about your gross national happiness. I want to understand what is the philosophy behind it, and how do the citizens of Bhutan contribute to it.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. Now, uh, the brand for Bhutan before Believe, which
Yes.
we got changed very recently, we used to have another brand which was developed for tourism actually as a destination brand, and it
Okay.
says the tagline says happiness is a place, and the logo is a blue poppy flower, which is our national flower. But now this is being replaced by Bhutan Believe. Now that tagline was actually derived from gross national happiness, which is a development philosophy which you have just highlighted. So I think
Yes.
it was based on this. Now, why we are trying to change this tagline from happiness is a place to believe is mainly for a very authentic reason, because we thought maybe by saying happiness is a place, we are already trying to claim that Bhutan is the happiest place, or all
Okay.
Bhutanese are the happiest, or any visitors coming to Bhutan will enjoy a perfect happiness. So that seems to be our promise, but then we know that in reality that is not true. So therefore,
Hmm.
in a way, we are not being authentic. So therefore, we thought maybe our tagline should be something more authentic, something more realistic, something more holistic. So therefore, we have this belief. Now, gross national happiness has been guiding our development for last 50 years. And that's
Yeah,
a
very long
development.
time. Yes. Yeah.
And what it basically means is, in a very layman term, and which has been paraphrased by none other than our Majesty, His Majesty the King, in his royal words, he says, gross national happiness is nothing but a development with values. Development with values.
Okay.
So
Nice.
what it means is when we pursue a development, we don't just pursue the economic. aspect, not just the economic, not just the revenue, but
Mm, mm.
we need to seek a balanced approach, objective. We need material objectives, at the same time non-material. Material, we all know, basically we are talking about economic, but
Yes.
non-material, we are talking about happiness, we are talking about society, we are talking about community, we are talking about our religion, spiritualism, we are talking about, so we are talking about so many other non-material things, which is should be part and parcel of the development. So therefore, gross national happiness basically pursues a development that has a balanced approach between a material and non-material. And we all agree that as a human being,
Mm.
at the end of the day,
Yes,
we like to
I agree
pursue
too. Yeah,
yes,
I agree as
happiness.
well.
Yeah? But
Yes, yes,
here
absolutely.
here, the clarification I like to make is by Bhutan having a gross national happiness as a development philosophy, we are not claiming, as I said earlier, we are the happiest. We are not
Mm.
claiming all Bhutans are happy. But
Mm.
what we are seeing is we are pursuing this as our target. We want to achieve, we want to pursue whatever we do in our development. At the end of the day, we have to try to be happy. So this is a moving target or a target that we are trying to pursue. Because very often people think that when Bhutan has a gross national happiness as a development philosophy, they think
Yes.
that only Bhutan is very happy and everybody
Mm.
is, so which is not the case.
Right. Oh, that's very interesting because, like you rightly said, and I agree also that a balance between inner happiness and
Yes,
outside, is very important to live a very holistic life, right? And I
yes,
think when you make that part of your development strategy, you also make it a people strategy too, by making
yes,
your own citizens inclusive of the development of their own country and, of course, and states in that way. Because whatever that I was watching online, which are also documentaries and things that way, the people seem to completely holistically and how do you call it, very and very realistically as well,
yes,
um, embrace that philosophy of the gross national happiness, because when this journalist was also asking them questions, to whoever that he was talking to, they kind of explained it so beautifully, saying that the person individual matters first, and then he or she then contributes to the greater larger good of the country, when your own needs are also prioritized, right, in terms of development. And I think that is what I found very interesting, by making something as core as happiness part of a country's holistic development. I love that. And now let's get to this main event. I think that made news quite a bit, which is the Snowman race that just happened. I think in October, right? October
yes,
12th or something like that. I want to know more about that, sir. I want to know how this concept came about and what is the vision going forward. I suppose it will be an
yes,
annual event or a more frequent event.
yes. Thank you very much again. Now, here I have to start by informing here the concept, the vision, the idea of snowman race comes from His Majesty our King. Like
Okay.
all the big things in our country, including the gross national happiness, the tourism policy of high value, low value, this all originated from our enlightened monarchs. Now,
Hmm.
particularly snowman race comes from again from our golden throne. Now, this actually originated from His Majesty walking the length and the breadth of our country. I
I
mean,
see.
he's also known as the people's king, and
Hmm.
very often he's always in the field. So when he had walked that stretch, which was run by Snowman Race, it
Hmm.
was on the what we call as Snowman Trek. Actually, we have a very world
Yeah.
famous trekking route for the tourists, and which is about more than I think 400 kilometers if you do the whole trek. And that trek, Snowman Trek,
It's called
It
the
is
Snowman
considered,
track.
yes, Snowman trek,
Yes. Right.
and it is known as in the world as one of the toughest trek routes
Toughest
in the world.
tracks. I
And
see.
people say that there are more people who climbed Mount Everest
Hmm.
than who this snowman trek. That, I mean,
I see.
basically,
Wow.
basically
Wow.
saying such a difficult trek. So
Yeah.
His Majesty the King, he has trekked this almost like 4 to 5 times, and over the during in course of his trekking, he has noticed that the climate change is taking place, especially in the highlands. Now, the important
Hmm.
thing, interesting thing of this trek is this, as you've already informed during your introduction, it the trek runs across, I mean, all above 4,000 meters above sea
Yes.
level. So it is in the highlands. There,
Yeah.
His Majesty observed the effect of the climate change. While Bhutan,
Hmm.
on our own, we are not doing anything to bring climate change, but because things are doings of the in the other areas, in the other countries,
Yes.
we
Yes.
are experiencing the impacts of the climate change. So therefore,
Correct.
His Majesty has observed. So therefore, uh, because from just those observations, then His Majesty said we need to do something about this island also. So therefore, the idea of snowman race. So basically, the snowman race, as you have again highlighted, we have invited world's fittest and the elite group of athletes to run this race, and through
Correct.
through these runners, we are trying to inform the world that climate change is real. While done on our own, we have not contributed anything towards climate change. In fact, we are
Hmm.
carbon negative, but despite this, we are also suffering. Our highlands are suffering. So we want
Yes.
to move through this race. We want to inform one or invite the whole world their attention to address this climate change. So that is the main objective. So therefore, Snowman Race tagline is the ultimate race for climate change. Basically, by running this race through these athletes, we are informing the world about this climate change.
Yeah.
Now, the 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 the, the maiden edition, which just happened in October,
October.
actually, it was not just done over a month. The planning for this race happened at least 4 years before. So it was a
Wow.
long plan. We have
Okay.
planned
Okay.
for this for the past 4 years. So finally, in October 13th, we did started this run for a 5 days.
Hmm.
Normally, if you do this trek, a 203 kilometer, it would take minimum of 15 days. But the
Hmm.
runners, they did it in 5 days. So in total, we had about 29, of which 20 are international runners, 9 are
Okay.
Bhutanese, and only 17 have completed.
I
29
see.
have started, but
Yeah.
because of the difficulties of the trek, only
Correct.
17 have completed. So this is the status. And as far as the future edition is concerned, well, even if it is not going to be annual, but we are quite definite that this will happen maybe at least after every 2 years, because
Hmm.
this the run is not just for running, but basically for
Correct.
climate change message. And we know this is the biggest challenge concern that the whole world is facing. So Bhutan wants to continue to keep this alive through running this. But again, just to inform, this is not just one initiative. We have so many other
Right.
initiatives. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. So yeah. So this race will become an annual race, or a much more frequent one. That is one. I think the athletes who are international athletes also then become messengers, right? To
Yeah.
messengers of climate change, which they take the message back to their own country too. That is number two, and I think what you're saying is so vital, because though Bhutan has such a huge forest cover, where you consciously ensure that your forest cover remains a minimum of 60%, and yet you're saying that Bhutan experiences climate change, which is a consequence of other countries polluting the planet.
Yes.
Yeah, which very that is very interesting. And I think when you put out messages of sort, like the snowman race, becomes a very how would I say that? A very strong message to the international community, especially when you have athletes from other countries participating, of how it becomes each one's, not just from a nation perspective, but also from a citizen perspective also, to ensure that we are also each one, consciously taking care that we are not polluting the planet, because I think there's more awareness now. Kids also in school know climate change and understand how we have to contribute ourselves in ensuring that it kind of, that it is minimized. And events of this sort bring such, such international publicity to it, and that too
Yes.
from coming from a country which is like you mentioned, very peaceful, and so small in size to making such a huge statement. I love that, sir. I really love that. So I think it's
Yes.
congratulations. Yeah, it's
Thank
congratulations,
you.
to Bhutan for taking such a bold step. Yeah, kudos. Really kudos. So, as Director General Tourism Council of Bhutan, can you lay down Bhutan's mission vision for 2023? Since now, I think post COVID and the fact that Bhutan now is also open to travel, international airports have also opened up. This is the right time to set the flavor for 2023. I would like to know from you.
Yes, it'll allow me to add a little bit on the snowman race. One
Yes.
is you said our athletes are, you said very rightly, messengers of climate change. But
Yes.
other words that we have been using to them is we said, now you all are going to be our warriors of climate change. So we have
Yeah.
uh, them as a warrior. Second is the race concluded with the climate summit. We wanted
Oh.
to
Okay.
be a summit, but this year, the first edition, we couldn't do a summit, so therefore it was at a much smaller scale, so therefore we have named it as a climate conclave. And it
Mm.
was hybrid mode. We had in person and mostly in virtual. But in the next edition, the Snowman race will conclude with a big climate summit. So this is another part of this climate
Fantastic,
experience.
fantastic, and congratulations! Because as I said, when a country like Bhutan, like I said, so smaller in size and makes such a huge statement to the world, I think there's so much that that other countries can also learn from that and not take their nature for granted.
Yes.
The resources that they have. So what is your mission, sir? What is the mission vision 2023 for Bhutan?
Yes. Okay, so now coming to the mission vision of tourism for 2023. Now
Yes.
again, as we have also rightly pointed out, when tourism started, Bhutan tourism started only in 1974. We got a first group of tourists only in 1974,
Huh.
and from
That's very
that day,
recent.
yes, from that day itself, we adopted this tourism policy: high value, low volume.
Hmm.
And we have been told that when His Majesty the Fourth King, presently we are under the golden reign of fifth king. So during the fourth king's reign, the tourism started, and when he was trying to formulate the tourism policy of high value, low volume, we we hear that he was kind of suggested by his his advisors or his others that maybe we should not go with this high value, low volume. Maybe our
Hmm.
policy should be like any other neighboring countries, be it an
Correct.
open door kind of tourism policy. But he was very determined. He said we have to have this high value, low volume. Now we have been following this policy for last, I mean,
Long
to
time now,
date.
yeah. Yes.
But what happened is just before pre-COVID, 2019,
Mm.
by 2019, this policy was already getting derailed. We got kind of a little bit distracted.
Okay.
We, for this policy, we have to be very mindful of the type of the tourists we get, then the number of the tourists that we want to have, and
Mm.
also we also have to make sure the tourists that come to Bhutan they get the best services, exclusive experience. But over the
Yes.
years, I think we got a little bit distracted, and by 2019 just before pre-COVID, our policy of high value, low volume was getting diluted. It was getting drained.
Oh, I
So,
see. I see.
so I mean, while COVID has done so much bad thing to the whole world, but
Correct.
especially for Bhutan, in tourism, I as the head of the tourism council tourism here, I always tell maybe COVID was a blessing in disguise for Bhutan tourism because
Hmm.
this gave us the opportunity to reinforce, to reset, to realign our tourism policy, which was already
Hmm.
getting. So now
I
with
see.
2.5 years of no tourists, so now we are back to we have officially opened our tourism only on 23rd September, last
Yes,
23rd.
that's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And when we are reopening, we have reopened with a reinforced tourism policy of high value, low volume. For example, we have increased the sustainable development fee, which used to be 65 USD pre-COVID. Now it has been increased to 200 USD.
Hmm. Okay.
In fact,
Okay.
one of the highest tourism levy in the world, maybe. But sustainable development fee, it basically is the fee that is being charged to every tourist, mainly to convey this message that Bhutan, as far as tourism is concerned, we are also going for this high value, low volume, and a sustainable tourism. High value, low volume tourism policy basically translates into sustainable tourism. So this
Correct.
sustainable development fee that we get from our tourists will go towards sponsoring, supporting all sustainable development initiatives that the country is going to do. The other one is this money will be plowed back into tourism industry to improve
Okay.
the infrastructure, the services. So these are all going to happen. So therefore, the vision for 2023, I mean, while we may not have a specific vision as such, but what we hope is as we move along, now the tourism has been transformed from
Mm-hmm.
tourist, and we are seeing, for example, we want to be the most exclusive destination for conscious traveler. And
Okay.
so
For the
going
conscious traveler,
forward, we are
yes.
seeing we are saying we want to go for quality over quantity. And coincidentally, your brand also says you. I mean, Ethel, I've gone through your page, and you says your brand also promotes quality over quantity. And
Absolutely,
quality
yes.
is exactly what our tourism policy also says going forward. We
Yes.
are not really chasing the number. We don't want to go for high numbers,
Yes.
but we
Yes.
whatever we want to do with quality. So quality over quantity. And also we are seeing tourism in Bhutan is not just for economic, it's not just for
Mm.
revenue. Therefore,
Right.
we are saying it's beyond revenue and receipts. We are talking about, uh, uh, for example, when a tourist come to Bhutan, they first come as a visitor. Once they
Hmm.
enter Bhutan, they become our guest. Once they
Correct.
leave our country, they leave as an ambassador. They leave as
Mm.
our friend, they leave as a family member. So these are some of the
Lovely.
new things we are trying to reinforce in tourism sector. So
I love
tourism
that.
is quality over quantity, beyond revenue and receipts, is about building relationship with our visitors, and also not just a one-time relationship, but intergenerational relationship.
I love
Meaning,
that. Yeah.
Bhutan is not just a bucket list destination; it is a
Hmm.
must visit. I like very much. I mean, you, Ethel, in the earlier when we are just talking, you said
Yes.
it's must visit. So there's a big difference between a bucket list and a must visit. Bucket list is
Yes.
somebody who just want to show to the world, okay, I visited Bhutan, but doesn't really
Correct.
have a much interest. Whereas a
Yeah.
must visit is, oh, this is a place that I have to visit. So these are some
Yes.
of the visions that we have for a new tourism that we are embarking on.
I love it. I love it because I think it's very forward. It's very forward thinking. It's very as I mentioned. I already know that you're so dynamic in what you do, but the enthusiasm by how you also apply this, to making sure that it's just not like statements in words. There's actually applied to in action, and I think that's makes a difference because like you so nicely said, you come as a traveler, that you live in Bhutan as
Yes,
a guest, yes, and you live and you leave as an ambassador. so that the relationship becomes just not for a particular period of time, but it becomes generational. And I love that. I never hear, most officials say that, don't say things like that. Everyone just looks at the numbers, and they're not, kind of very focused on what those numbers actually mean, in terms of value, in terms of quality, in terms of, not just the receipts, not just the receipts that add on to the economy, but what is the actual, messaging that happens through the travelers who, who come to visit your country. And I like that, because I like what you said, because it implies conscious focus. So you know consciously what you are creating, why you are creating, the impact of what the philosophy and the policy will be on the country and its people, and how you can then take that forward to, to the future as well. I think that is what makes Bhutan, very special. And I'm not just saying it because we're doing the interview, because I am beginning to understand the country more and more because of the curiosity-driven research that I did, and I like it. Yeah. So congratulations to you and your people. I think that is it's so beautiful, to be thinking that way, so consciously, to be uh, to be there on the planet making decisions of this sort for the larger, greater good. So how do you chill when you're not working and you're not doing so much of work? How do you chill?
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's been quite a work, so not really getting time to chill. I wish I could get, but otherwise,
Yes.
I mean, if I get time, yes, I would like to go for a trek.
Oh,
That
okay.
is good, but as I said, not taking much time. So trekking and going into the forest, something that I really enjoy. But the the problem with that is it takes a lot of time. And I also do some writing actually.
Okay.
Uh, I have in fact written authored a book, a, a fiction book, a novel. So
Huh.
even these days, whenever I get some time, I try to jot down. So I'm in the process of completing. While it might take quite some time, but I'm in the process of writing another one.
What is the book
So
about, sir?
uh, if the one that is published,
Yes.
that's about is a fiction. Is about a woman actually. Is about a
Okay.
woman power. Is about a woman equality. In fact, one of the best comments that I got from my readers on that book
Hmm.
is they were questioning my sex. They're saying I should be a female. As reading that book, it seems that
Yes.
I've written such a way from a female point of view. They were even
Okay.
questioning whether I'm really a male. I say, I mean, they said,
How
of course, that
beautiful.
yes.
How beautiful.
So,
You're a feminist. You're a feminist man. I like that.
so it's about a woman actually. The main character protagonist is a woman. Uh, I mean, yes. The,
Nice. Beautiful.
the, the one that I'm writing on is again that is more of a non-fiction. I'm
Hmm.
trying to put together my experiences. Uh,
Okay.
Working as a governor in one of the districts, so very specific what I've experienced that.
This is lovely that you choose to unwind by writing, because I mean that's what I do for a living any which way. But I know that when I look at the photographs of Bhutan, and it's so exquisitely beautiful. I think it would make a poet out of even somebody who who does not have a bone of imagination in his body.
Yes, yes,
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to know. It's also good to know that you're a feminist man, which is great. I think the world needs more more feminist men, in that way. Which leads me to ask you this question, because the platform of Heart to Heart, as I mentioned, earlier, was about not only just honoring leadership, but also inspiring, anyone, a man or a woman on the street, to to um, awaken, the leader in them, in that sense. Can you give us, my audiences, uh, your three leadership values that have held you in good stead in your personal and your professional life?
Yes, since it's a heart to heart, I will
Yes.
share something very, very personal. Uh, at one point in time, maybe about 7, 8 years ago, in course of my public service, I reached a stage wherein I thought I should quit my job.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
at that point in time, uh, I got another opportunity. I was nominated, appointed as a governor. So then I continued as a governor. And as a part of that, uh, I had to undergo a training. I got an opportunity to do a leadership training. And
Okay.
during that training, I came across a new kind of leadership theory, policy, or a principle, philosophy, called as leadership of self. Leadership of self. And
Leadership of self.
yes,
Wow.
and that comes from, again, it was coined by His Majesty, or His Majesty the King, and
Yes.
during his address at a convocation in a university in Kolkata,
Hmm.
he said this: leadership of self. What we need is a leadership of self, not a leadership, not a leader who would lead masses. So
I love that.
that really
Yes.
touched me. And to me now, when I talk about leadership qualities, that comes as a number one: leadership of self. Now, what it means is one has to decide. One has to take full control of yourself, and you have to lead yourself by yourself.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
leadership itself. So that since then I've been inspired by that philosophy, and I've been trying to implement this leadership of self. And meaning in my organization, if I have a 30 colleagues, each 30 of us have to be a leader ourselves. Basically,
Yes.
again, it means that. So that would be my first top priority leadership quality.
Leadership
That
of self. Beautiful.
leadership. The
Beautiful.
second I've been following is to lead by example. No, to lead by example. To do well,
Yeah.
to have a
Yeah.
successful organization. Maybe I think we really need to now, since while everybody have to be a leader by themselves, but then in
Correct.
an organization there is always somebody appointed as a leader. Now, in
Yes.
my organization, I am the director general, so I have to.
Correct.
So therefore, everyone looks up to me. So then I have to lead by an example. So whatever I
Yes.
speak, I have to put it in action. I think that is
Hmm.
a very strong thing.
Yeah.
Third one, since you have given me three
Three.
to list,
Yes.
yes, I would say honesty. Now, as a
Honesty.
leader, honesty. If somebody
Hmm.
performs well, I think you have to tell immediately, transparently, you have
Yeah.
done well, you are doing well. But if
Yes.
there's somebody who doesn't do well according to your assessment, then again you have to tell, as a supervisor, you have to tell, that person, this is something that you are not doing well, you have to do this. So I thought these are the three things. One is the leadership of the self. Second is lead by example. Third is be honest and transparent about how your colleagues are performing. If they're performing well, you encourage them, appreciate them openly. If they are not performing well, also, then if there's room for
Hmm.
improvement, you have to tell them openly.
Yeah.
While,
Yes.
while doing so, maybe some of them will not like you personally, but then at
Correct.
the end, this will really benefit them.
Correct. I love that. I love leadership of self. I think that is so core and vital today. And because today in the morning I chanced about this beautiful post on Facebook, which I must mention here, where this gentleman, another writer editor, was saying that the world needs more mentors today, so that we can lend support and help to others who might not be in similar positions as us, or fortunate enough to have the exposure that you know some of us do have. Also, by doing so, by being a mentor to somebody, you could actually make a difference to that person's life, not just from an external manner, but actually in their own quality of life as well, in a very personal manner. And I completely agree with that, because I think uh, COVID has taught us this core lesson of our insignificance in the
Yes.
grander scheme of things in life,
True.
that we are just a speck of dust. What really matters is our humanity to rise above, the trap holes we have created for ourselves. And in that, I think Malaysia has woken up, my own, how do you call it? Um, my own spiritual seeker as well, in that sense. And I'm deeply drawn to Buddhism. I understand that not just in your personal life, but more so in our professional life, we need to be conscious leaders, which means you are consciously creating actions that are leadership of self, like you mentioned beautifully. I think it all kind of resonates. That is an example of leadership of self, and an example by action to lead correctly. And I think by doing so, you automatically create conscious leadership in places that you either work at or inspire or lead people. And that those same values, if you can then bring them home to maybe to your children, by way of example, right? I think some sort of a difference in their own quality of life, we hope, that you can inspire as well. I love what you said.
I think I really like how you have further elaborated by bringing in this concept of conscious leader. I think that's really beautiful. Mm.
Yes. And I know more and more, these values today are so, so important to be put out there. And that is what is also my core intention with my Heart to Heart platform. Like I said, even if one person is inspired by what we have discussed today, my mission is done, you
Yes.
know, because we are all here on this planet for such a short time. What will our legacy be, correct?
Wonderful.
Because we take nothing with us. At least
Yes.
I hope that this becomes some sort of a, like a legacy that you create and keep behind, not in a very egoistic manner, but I think in a sense of service.
Yes.
I
No,
feel,
such a
yeah.
such novel objectives. As I said earlier, your heart to heart program such a novel.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you and I have connected on this platform. I feel there
Yes.
is a lot to be done together, and I hope you will allow me to collaborate with you, because I love your ideas.
Yes.
And see what difference can be made, in the in a macro form, and in a minor. Like how our colleague also was saying, Karma also was saying, the macro picture is more important, you know, and if we
True.
can
Yes.
facilitate, yeah, if we can facilitate that through through what we do, I think is good karma created.
Yes. And
What's
the karma also means the destiny. I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
so. It fits very well.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, correct. What's would be your advice to travelers coming planning, or planning to visit Bhutan, and what should they expect to experience once they're there?
Okay. Again, I think is a very natural kind of progression into this next question. You talked about conscious leader. Now,
Yes.
coming to tourists in the future, what we expect is all our visitors to be a conscious traveler, not
Conscious travel.
very conscious traveler. Now, what it means is basically when they come to visit us, they have to be, I mean, of course, they have their own objectives, but at the same time, they will be very mindful of the
Yes.
values we are trying to promote. And our values are actually universal values, basically.
Mm.
And also the aspirations, the objectives, the goals of the nations, we as a host nation, that also be also very much be, minded by our travelers. So in a way, they the visitors that come to Bhutan, I would suggest that if you are looking for a new family, a new brother, or new sister, or a new
Mm.
relationship, or a new friend,
Mm.
Bhutan can be that place, because this is something that we are trying to offer. We are not trying to get a tourist here just to get the money out of them, extract money out of them. That the money, of course, that will also will come, by the way. But our most first priority is to build this relationship, the long term, the intergenerational relationship that we want to build. So if somebody wants to come here just to have a fun and then I would say maybe Bhutan is not the right place. If you just want to have spend your money here and just don't, I mean, not try to connect with the local population here, then maybe Bhutan is not the right place. But if you're looking for something more, trying to find the inner peace, I mean, you try to
Yeah.
learn about yourself. If you want to know
Correct.
more about yourself, maybe you come to Bhutan. If you want to know something on spiritualism, something on nature, something on
Hmm.
culture, something that goes beyond
Hmm.
your routine daily work, then I
Yes.
think Bhutan can be that place. And we are really trying to create this space, place for such type of conscious, mindful travelers, and who, in due course of time, will develop this strong intergenerational relationship. So this is what I would like to uh, suggest.
Lovely, lovely. I also agree with that because I think when we travel to different countries, uh, being conscious and is being conscious is so important so that you respect the values and the culture and the traditions and the heritage of that particular country that you visit, by how do I call it, by honoring it as well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, and I think that is very important today as travelers because as I said, the dynamics of the world has changed. uh, I was reading some travel trends also for 2023. Like you correctly mentioned, it is the rise of the conscious traveler, is what they're saying, and people who want to make a difference to the country that they're traveling
Yes,
to are also on the rise now. You know,
exactly.
yeah,
So
not
that's what
just
I'm
go
talking.
there. Yeah.
Yes, like I mean, for example, we when you travel to another destination, you don't want to
Yes.
see that place as a museum, no? We
Yes.
want to respect that destination, be a conscious
Correct.
traveler, be part of them. But sometimes I think maybe some visitors will come and take the host or the destination as a museum place, something that they can, just throw out their money and do whatever they would
Hmm.
like, not caring at
Yes.
all for you. So that type of, I think, we are not encouraging.
Yes, yeah, and that is why your high value, low traffic makes complete sense to me, because I think that is it is just appropriate, and it just as I said, it's so ahead of its time in that way. For a country to understand itself, but also know what is really important, for them, not just as you said, of course, revenue matters, but revenue at the cost of destruction of heritage value.
Not
uh, yeah, what I'm not interested in, and I
yes.
love that. I wish more and more countries pursue tourism of this flavor, if you know what I'm saying, right? Where they also get to learn to respect their own natural resources, their own bounty that they have in terms of natural resources, and get each citizen of their country to participate, in its upkeep. You see, as a journalist, I see very few. I think you can count them on your fingers. Countries that are really consciously driving tourism of this nature. And as I said, my congratulations to you personally, because I can see how passionately you lead from the front. To the people of Bhutan, because from whatever that I've seen and read, I think it is so exquisitely unique, and the way it's all kind of it's treasured is very inspiring. And I'm looking forward, of course, to travel to Bhutan very soon, so
So
I can experience it, for myself. And with this, I think, our 60 minutes. See, when you have a good time talking and there's so much of great connection that happens, time just flies,
yes, yes.
irrespective of where we are. Correct?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this platform to connect with you and also with the online viewers here.
Yes. No, I should say thank you to you, sir, because as I said, I reached out to you and you were so gracious to kind of say, yes, let's just do this and take it ahead. And and I
And
love that kind of dynamism.
thanks to Karma. I mean,
Thanks to
for
Karma.
yes, for connecting us.
Yes, thanks to Karma. And for you to also kind of participate such with so much of enthusiasm says so much about your leadership. Thank you so much. And I hope all your dreams and all your goals come true, because the heart is in the right place. So I know the soul will just, rise up to any challenge that comes your way. Thank you so much, sir, for joining this
Thank
conversation.
you, Ethel. Thank you. So we'll stay in touch.
We are going to stay in touch, you bet. Yes. Thank you to you. And
And
a
thank you
big,
all the viewers. Yes,
yes, and big love to Bhutan,
thank you. Same to you in Malaysia. Yes.
in Malaysia. Yes, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I love this conversation. I love this conversation because I think it was first of all such a pleasure to talk to Dorji sir, also of the kind of enthusiasm and how he responded to to the quest of being on my heart seat. Also, how fabulously Bhutan is conceptualizing. Tourism policies for itself, which is so, which is not just ahead of its time only, but I think great examples even for other countries to follow and to put it into practice of creating, balance within to create balance out. And I hope this session or this interview has inspired you as well, because I know that a lot of people are already planning for, vacations and holidays, and revenge travel, as we call it, is on the rise, where people are, really traveling with, like how do you call it, with vigor, to make up for the two lost years, so to say. But I implore you that to be a conscious traveler, no matter which country you visit, so that we consciously lend value to the country, that we plan to visit, to its people, to its laws, to its, to its heritage, and leave some sort of, how do you call it, leave something good behind, for yourself too, because travel also, I believe, is great soul expansion. And on that note, I must say huge thank you to not only my guest for joining me on this live interview from Bhutan. I must also thank my partner, the Mac Clinic, Malaysia's pioneering aesthetic institution, for being partners with me in these leadership series. To friends and fans of the Mac Clinic, you know that they have started their third clinic at the Great Eastern Mall in Ampang, Kuala Lumpur. And there's a small message from Dr. Hugh, which to kind of say what the third clinic is all about at the Great Eastern Mall, and we can't wait for you to go and experience it. So that's
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Hugh from the Mac Clinic, and I'm standing right here at this spot. We've got something very exciting coming your way. So here I am at our newest outlet, a clinic in Great Eastern Mall, and this is where we're going to launch very exciting new treatments, and it's a new place, a new spot for our clinic. It's our third clinic, the other two are in Bangsa. So do come and visit us if you're staying around in Ampang or KL area. Very near, we're only about 5 minutes away from KLCC. It's a new convenience spot for people in KL. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Hugh from the Mac Clinic, and I'm standing right here at this spot. We've got something very exciting coming your way. So here I am at our newest outlet, a clinic in Great Eastern Mall, and this is where we're going to launch very exciting new treatments, and it's a new place, a new spot for our clinic. It's our third clinic, the other two are in Bangsa. So do come and visit us if you're staying around in Ampang or KL area. Very near, we're only about 5 minutes away from KLCC. It's a new convenience spot for people in KL.
So, friends and folks from India, Malaysia, and now Bhutan, that becomes I think my readership base as well. Thank you for joining in on this edition of Heart to Heart. We have a brand new month of November just around the corner. Happy Halloween to everyone. Do pray for, to all our folks who have passed on, and be safe while celebrating Halloween, because safety is priority. I'm going to see you next Sunday with another fabulous guest who will join me. Until then, stay strong, stay healthy, and stay beautiful in and out. Good night.